Yeah, there's such a need right now for independent media, and I believe that comes from the mainstream media's or the lack of trust in the mainstream media from American citizens, and we see this all around the world. Uh, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're on the right or left. The term fake news seems to be a pretty common term. We just don't believe the media anymore, and so I believe that's where the independent media is coming from, obviously. But how do we get here? What's some key events over the last decade that have really transcended uh, what we knew as traditional media to what we see today?
Yeah, well, I actually want to go back about 2 decades, right? Because if we look, this is even more than 2 decades, but if we look at the fall of the wall, right, we look at the end of the Cold War, and we talk about this crumbling of the complex of two superpowers. You have this power hold on information from the West, power hold on information from the East, the USSR versus the United States, fighting in proxy wars around the world. It's very important to control propaganda, and yes, like, I know people don't like to admit that the U.S. engages in massive propaganda, but I hope 2020 woke them up to that the media definitely covers for bad faith actors. They have agendas. Moving up forward, when 2001, when the 9/11 attacks happened, you saw a really interesting moment where there was only one narrative that was allowed out in that event, that these were terrorists who attacked our country, that there were weapons of mass destruction, and that we needed to invade Afghanistan and eventually Iraq as well. And then it comes out that you see George W. Bush, Jr., by the way, and he's, a few years later, after we didn't find weapons of mass destruction, is joking at a speech going, "Oh, I wonder where weapons of mass destruction are. Are they over there? No." He's like speaking as if it's like a joke. "Oh, I guess they were never weapons of mass destruction." And you're going, that's pretty difficult to understand, because we were literally told every day that there were nuclear warheads. Yes, there were chemical agents. There were some weapons that were problematic, but meaning we sacrificed thousands of American lives, got into wars we haven't even finished, because the media worked with the government to push a narrative that we needed to invade these countries because of the threat that they had. And I'm not going to get into wartime politics, but I mean, 20 years later, we have not gotten out of those wars. And that media coverage that led public opinion to get involved in those wars and to stay involved in those wars on false pretenses, I think set the nerve for Americans to become very suspicious of the media in general, especially veterans of all people who have served the country, who go, if I'm going to put my life on the line, if I'm going to go overseas, if I'm going to do what I'm being asked for my country, and I love my country probably has the obligation back to me to be honest and transparent with me about what I'm getting into and why I'm getting into it, right? And so now we're in these wars overseas, and the government can't even fully explain what the end result is or the goal is today. And I think that's what leaves Americans frustrated, right? Because we're not just pissed off because someone's giving us, fake or alternative facts, as they say. It's like, not only are some people's family members giving their lives, some of the people who watch this show are currently, giving their lives, or given up body parts, or have given up mental health. I mean, it's very serious. And if the media isn't able to work on behalf of the people, then we have to ask ourselves, who are they working on behalf?
That's good.